welcome back, Mr. to a brand new episode of Comic Class. Today's Let's Start is reading against Stanley's Ditko's The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 27, Bring Back My Goblin to Me. And yeah, this should be a really fun issue to talk about. If you haven't already, go check out the previous issues on the channel as we go through the entire Stanley's Ditko run. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So this story starts off where the last issue left off, with the Green Goblin delivering Spider-Man to the Crime Master, basically making a huge scene about him defeating Spider-Man to the Crime Master and the rest of the gangs of New York City as underground. And Spider-Man's basically put into chains, and the Green Goblin is trying to get the Crime Master to look bad, and basically is trying to like showing him up because he's the one that defeated Spider-Man, and now the rest of the gang masters are gonna wanna, partner up with him, it seems. And it's really cool how the whole crowd of the gang people turn on the Crime Master. Eventually, Spider-Man comes to his senses and realizes that he's in chains, and he tries to fight off the people, like the enforcers, I think, are there, in the Green Goblin, and the Crime Master basically are trying to aim to kill Spider-Man to not allow him to escape this situation in this area. Eventually, Peter is fighting against tons of gang people, and the police eventually show up, and during the chaos in the fight, Spider-Man breaks free of the chains by just using his spider string to easily break out of it. Very Superman-esque type panel, showing that feat off. And yeah, he basically gets to a confrontation with all the gang members that are there, helping the police basically defeat them. It's a really cool set of action panels. Eventually, Spider-Man gets into combat with the Green Goblin, and they basically, Spider-Man ties up all of the gang members, or at least most of them, and the rest of the gang members basically surrender to the police. The Crime Master basically gets away and is making his getaway, as the Green Goblin, I guess, goes after him or something. Eventually, Peter tries to follow the Crime Master through a tunnelway, and the Crime Master uses that poisonous gas that we saw him use in their last encounter. And Peter uses like his webbing to make like a type of like mask so that he doesn't breathe in the toxic gases. Eventually, he finds his way out of the tunnel system, but down in the sewer system, the Crime Master basically gets away and finds a way out without Spider-Man catching him. Eventually, Peter makes his way, and I guess the Green Goblin got away as well. We don't really see that, I believe, but he must have gotten away as well. So Peter goes to the Daily Bugle as Spider-Man and basically meets his accusations that he believes that the big man basically is the Crime Master. I think his name was Foswell. And it turns out that Foswell was not the Crime Master, because as they're talking to Foswell, we see the Crime Master up on a rooftop, and the police basically grab him and take him in for questioning, to put him in jail. And Peter, basically apologizes to Foswell, believing real deep down inside that Foswell has something to do with the Crime Master, despite knowing that it wasn't him. And we don't get to see the Crime Master's identity either, or learn about whose identity it is. And it's pretty cool. We get to see the Crime Master basically tries to let them know who the Green Goblin's identity is. And before he was able to reveal their identity, he basically died. So I'm guessing maybe the Green Goblin had something to do with that, like poisoned him or something, or maybe his own poison gas was the thing that did him, and maybe he was hired to kill himself with his own poison gas to make sure that the real Foswell, if Foswell is the Crime Master, after all, that he was able to get away and get to the Daily Bugle while this guy took the fall for him. But yeah, so Spider-Man basically apologizes to Foswell. J. Jonah Jameson wants him, Spider-Man to be arrested and to get out of his building. And Spider-Man basically meets his escape and is still convinced that Foswell has something to do with this. We also get to see that the Daily Bugle basically goes back to their usual work. And it's really cool to see, that everyone basically goes back to normal after this whole Crime Master and Green Goblin situation. And it seems like Peter's gonna go back to getting some pictures of Spider-Man. And yeah, and Foswell, is someone that, was working with J. Jonah Jameson, and it says that, that Foswell actually got the Crime Master, revealed, and that, J. Jonah Jameson's basically trying to take credit for, nabbing the Crime Master, basically getting his identity, because of Foswell working under him. I thought that was really cool, basically saying that it was all his idea. And the issue starts to end with a reveal of Norman Osborn. We don't get Norman Osborn's name in this issue, but he is introduced to J. Jonah Jameson. They have a type of discussion with each other. Peter goes back home, obviously works on his suit, I guess with some of the damage it probably took during the fight with the entire gangs of New York City. It's revealed to us that with Foswell, that Foswell has a mask of such that, that the informer that betrayed the underworld, basically, that he was a character known as Patch, which I guess that is Foswell's, Foswell's secret identity as this mask he puts on to hide his real identity, which I thought was really cool. And we get to see the Green Goblin yet again in like silhouette type form. And you can kind of tell that's Norman Osborn, and for most people of this generation, we know Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin. But when this stuff was coming out, no one knew his identity, and hopefully we'll see how that reveal is handled in the future, but it won't be in the Steve Ditko run. So we'll see if we're gonna cover the John Romita run, John Romita Senior run, after we finish the whole Steve Ditko Stan Lee run. But yeah, and the issue basically ends with that, and Peter and Aunt May basically, I guess, going home or something like that. And it was really cool. I think Peter was taking Aunt May home on a bus, after she went to go see a movie or something. And that's how the issue ends, with them going off with a bus and the panel just saying the end. And we get a little bit of Ted talking about what to expect next issue, but we usually get that every issue. And yeah, that was Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's The Amazing Spider-Man issue 27. Bringing back my Goblin. To me, overall, really solid issue. I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy seeing the Green Goblin in these original Steve Ditko, Stan Lee issues. He has a very good personality, and definitely sets the groundwork for what you should expect from the Green Goblin in the future. And he definitely has more going for him than other Spider-Man villains at this point in the comic. So overall, really great villain. It was really cool to see Spider-Man fight against the underworld gang of New York. There was tons of gang members that he had to fight against. Foswell is a pretty interesting character. Hopefully get more with his character in the next few issues. And yeah, overall really solid story as well in this issue. And I definitely do recommend you go check it out on Comicsology. And yeah, until next video guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comics.